You can't look for the next Messi all the time. And Haaland is that good. Man City have got to win one game to get a piece of silverware. Welcome back, guys, yet again to another week of TFW. It's Monday, there's been loads of footballing action, and you guys have left your opinions. First off, we're going to get straight into it with one from Waze, who has said, is it time for Pep Guardiola to leave Manchester City? Is that a knee-jerk reaction from the weekend? I'm not so sure. Things clearly in the Premier League this season for Man City have not been going so well. They're massive amounts of point behind Liverpool, 22 at the moment, which is the biggest that there's ever been a gap in Premier League history from first to second. I think he has to go all in on the Champions League. If Guardiola doesn't win it, and he's been speaking about it this week, saying he knows that if he doesn't win the Champions League, he's a failure, he has to win it. Or I think that Manchester City may go another direction. I mean, again, on top of that, he also said that he wouldn't be leaving Manchester City unless he's fired. He'll definitely be here next season. I really think that he and some of the players look a little bit tired, and maybe it's time to freshen things there. Maybe it's time to freshen things up after quite a few years under Pep Guardiola's immense reign. Big Buster Brown has said, why are City so inconsistent this season? They dominated Spurs, did take the chance, you would let Spurs back into the game. I mean, that's generally what happens. If you're missing chances, you're generally made to pay for them. Of course, the red card helped as well. I'm not so sure City have been incredibly inconsistent this season, but I'm not so sure it's a fault of their own. I just think that lots of other teams in the Premier League have become better at dealing with City, at taking on Manchester City, and they haven't quite done so well against Liverpool, who are relatively new to the dominating scene. Like, Liverpool are at the start of what could be a magnificent era for them over the next few years. Manchester City are coming now to their fourth season under Pep Guardiola, where teams may have figured them out a bit, and as well as this, players are getting older, players haven't been replaced, maybe they're not feeling as inspired towards the end, much like with Spurs players under Pochettino, as they once have done. And I think it's a factor of all these things combined, which may lead to Guardiola leaving, and the fact that City may be inconsistent. I mean, the perfect sort of example was it a few months ago, when City got drawn against Real Madrid. I'll put my hands up, I thought City were shoo-ins to beat Real Madrid. I thought, yeah, you know what, they're a lot better. Real Madrid are struggling, they'll go through. Now I'm thinking Real are definitely favourites, but we'll get onto them a little bit later. Sticking with the Spurs City game, LG and Cal456 has said VAR should check the goalkeeper being off his line. VAR does not check that in the rules. That is down to the assistant referees who are stood on the corner of the byline of the 6-yard box. VAR does check encroachment, which is moving into the penalty box from a player before the penalty is taken, but does not check the goalie being off his line. That is supposed to be down to the assistant referee who was stood 6 yards away. And so if he has missed it, he must be blind. And lastly, Josh J said, I don't think Man City will get a single piece of silverware this season based on current form. I would tend to agree based on current form. On the flip side, though, they're in the Carabao Cup final and they've got Aston Villa. No disrespect to Aston Villa, they've been brilliant this season. Big fan of Jack Grealish and a few others there. It's one game. Man City have got to win one game to get a piece of silverware. So the odds are massively stacked in their favour, especially with that. I mean, obviously they're still in the FA Cup and the Champions League, as we mentioned, is a long shot. Moving on to PSG, because Mr. Football was asked, what do you guys think of Mbappe? The way he reacted when he was subbed at 5-0 with 20 minutes to go. I think he's a great player. He has to show respect to others. Mentioned this in the Daily earlier. There's basically two sides to the story, and you guys have your say, let me know. One side, Mbappe wants to be on the pitch. He scored 14 goals this season in Liga. I believe he's the top scorer, maybe joint top goal scorer. He wants to be on the pitch, he wants to score, he wants to prove at every single opportunity that he is the best or rising to be the best in the world. So you can see why, especially, no offence to Montpellier, against a weak opposition, he felt like there were more goals in it for him. He felt like he could have had 2, 3, 4, whatever. But on the flip side, Thomas Tuchel's the manager. If he's got something to say, you listen to him, you accept it and you move on. Especially at 5-0. The game's done, Kylian. Have yourself a bit of a rest, even though you don't want to. There's much bigger games coming up. I just think that with the way that it's sort of set out that he is growing to be such a big star, maybe he's a little bit too big for his boots, and he knows that in a massive argument, he's far more valuable to PSG than Thomas Tuchel is. That's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, he's still his manager, so he should have listened. But moving on to the Bundesliga, actually, we've got one great comment as well. But first up, Why Lam Chu has said, will Haaland have the success if he is a starter, or will he only be good off the bench? He's been a starter. Like, he started at the weekend, he scored 2 goals at Salzburg, he was the guy. starting almost every single game. He's not an impact bench player. I just think he did that at Dortmund because he hadn't played for a few weeks. He was getting used to the team and the system, and they just wanted to edge him in slowly. From now on, you can expect him to be a starter. They've sold Paco Alcacer, and there really isn't that many sort of out-and-out striking options. And Haaland is that good. He definitely is that good. He's come on, he's shown that. People say, oh, he's only done it in the Austrian League. He was also banging in the Champions League. And now he's doing it, for Dortmund. He is the real deal. Because Big Dan, that's a great comment. For those of you who remember, Big Dan was the one who said he was a poor man's Danny Welbeck, second-rate Danny Welbeck a few weeks ago. So he said, after Erling Haaland has gone on to score 7 goals in just 3 matches, I've decided to retract my statement about him being a second-rate Danny Welbeck, although I must say he is certainly no Solomon Rondon. Well, Solomon Rondon's a different kind of beast to Danny Welbeck. I would hedge a bet and say Haaland's going to have a more successful career, but I'm not throwing any shade on Rondon. I like him. I think he's a good player. Moving on, Ansu Fati, 2 goals, both assisted by Lionel Messi in the 2-1 victory over Levante. Furious Gamers asked, Ansu Fati scored 2 goals to give Barca the win. That he did. Do you think he'd become a legend at the club like Messi if he stays? Guys, there seems to be a theme, and you can't look for the next Messi all the time, or look to see, this player's done this, so he's going to be that good. It's like sort of judging best signing of the transfer window 100% before you've even seen them play. Will Ansu Fati, look, if he stays at Barcelona his whole career, and so considering he broke into the first team at 16, right, let's say he retires 20 years later at 36, you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy who's in a Barcelona first team for 20 years that isn't considered a legend. Will you reach Messi? No, that's the plain and simple answer. I don't think anyone's going to reach Messi or Ronaldo-like levels again. Kylian Mbappe is probably the only one who can reach, certainly from a goal-scoring point of view, but for what they've done for inspiring generations of football players, and for the way they took the game to a whole new level, especially their rivalry at Real Madrid and Barcelona, Ansu Fati's not going to do that. Not because he's not brilliant. I think he can go on to be a fantastic, phenomenal footballer. Fati has the world at his feet. It's not going to be quite Lionel Messi, but there you go. Talking on their big rivals, Real Madrid, Farahanaz Sorabdastor said Madrid are now unbeaten in 21 games. Are they going to win La Liga? I think yes. I think Real Madrid have shown a brilliant sort of adaptation under Zinedine Zidane to playing without Cristiano Ronaldo. Last season, we saw them struggle without Ronaldo, for sure, 100%. Zidane came back in, and they've really identified that they can't always play the same way. They're not playing the crazy Real Madrid attacking way that we've seen in recent years. They're really, really solid defensively, and I think it's no doubt due to the form of Thibaut Courtois. I think they've conceded 3 goals in the last 17 odd La Liga games or something like that. Maybe it's completely wrong. Only, I think, around 10 goals all season in La Liga. Someone hit me with the stats in the comment section. Basically, they're incredible defensively. They're not blowing teams away by like 4, 5s and 6s. There's the odd 4 every now and then. I just think they're doing really, really well to kind of change up the way they're playing and understand they're going through a tricky period. Barcelona don't seem to be coping as well, but they still have their gem in Lionel Messi. I think Real Madrid will go on to win it. I don't think it will be spectacular. It won't be the most spectacular title victory or title race. It's between the same old top 2 again. But yeah, I honestly think Real Madrid are going to go on to win it this season. Next up, taking a big dive from Real Madrid. No offence to West Ham fans, but Sandra Martin's asked, if West Ham get relegated, in your opinion, how quickly will they get back to the Premier League or stay in the Championship? They will get back to the Premier League like that. This is something that I feel is really, really affecting the lower league football, especially in England. The whole wealth gap between the Football League, the Championship's kind of in the middle, but the Premier League is so massive that we're creating a whole group of yo-yo clubs that can go down, but they're too good for the Championship. Norwich are a perfect example. Wolves are similar as well. You get all this money from being in the Premier League, right? Getting up to the Premier League, staying up for a season, and then maybe you go down again, maybe in your second season. You're going to be taking in about 200 million plus parachute payments. The amount of money you get from being relegated from the Premier League means you're so well set up for the Championship. You can bring in Premier League quality players on Premier League wages, absolutely blow away the Championship, at least finish in the playoffs, at least, if not automatic promotion, and then come back up. And if you're not good enough, you don't have the club structure or the size to bring in new players, which West Ham definitely do, because they are a big club with a big history, you're just going to yo-yo between the two. West Ham may find they have one season where they're poor, they go down. They should, effectively, fly straight back up. They have such a high quality of players. It's obviously not gelling for one reason or another, but they're just almost too good to stay in the Championship for too long. If they don't do it one season, definitely second. And I think you're going to find there's going to be a whole load of clubs who, unless they really fall apart, looking at the likes of, obviously, Blackpool, Wigan and Portsmouth completely fell away. But certainly in this new era, the likes of Stoke, QPR, teams like that, it's going to take a hell of a lot to lose those players and not come back to bounce straight back up. West Brom are the perfect example, who are going to probably bounce between the two. Next up, and lastly but not least, Manchester United. Ryan FC18, has Ole run out of luck? He seems to become less and less fit for the job in every match week. I mean, he has run out of luck, but that's been going for quite a while. I'm just not overly sure that everything is right at Manchester United, and part of that is for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to take the blame for. I personally, I know you can point to those different reasons, personally don't see him fit as a United manager just yet. I think he's got a lot to learn. He'll be better off from this experience regardless whether he's fired or not. It just looks like there is so much conspiring against him, as well as the fact that he's a poor manager. It's not exactly helping him. If he had, a crazy amount of money and a chairman that was bringing in all the players he needed, he had a fantastic squad and he just wasn't putting off the results, you could easily pinpoint at him and say, you're the weak link. But because there's so much of, nonsense going on at the club at the moment, I'm hesitant to pin it all on him, even if I don't think he's the highest quality of manager. Personally, I think they'll stick with him until the summer, make a change when they can really give the new manager a full transfer window and loads of time to work with the players. Of course, though, that is coming to the end of TFW. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And remember, every Sunday night, you get a chance to leave your opinions in the YouTube community tab. I will say very quickly, for those of you leaving quick fires or rate these players or anything like that, that's not really what we're looking for from TFW. We want your hard opinions on the weekend's football and something that's just gone. For all your sort of looking forward to the Champions League, to the Euros, transfers, quick fires, ratings, make sure you leave them on a Wednesday night in the community tab for our Q&A sessions with myself and Paddy or Nico, whoever. But yeah, Sunday nights, leave your opinion for TFW, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.